Hey everybody, I wanted to address what I think is an interesting question. The question of, is capitalism greed? You hear a lot of people saying, oh, those greedy capitalists. And what I'd like to do is actually use a soccer analogy to display how this idea of greed can play out in different economies. And I'd also like to assert, if we can all agree on this, then it'll make the discussion a little bit easier, assert that it's people who are greedy, not economic systems. So let's put a drawing up here, and let's just assume that everybody's greedy. So I'm going to use a soccer analogy. So I've got my own soccer team here, and I'm greedy to win. I want to be this great soccer team that's going to get a lot of championships and stuff. Then there's another soccer team that's also greedy. And there's a referee that's greedy. And the referee is the government in this picture. And the teams are private teams, or private citizens, let's say. So the referee's got two powers, or the government has two powers. One is to create the rules of the game, and second is to enforce the rules. The court system, for example, to be the judge of the rules. So when I'm playing a soccer game, the referee has to make a judgment call as to whether I've broken the rules or not. And if I've broken the rules, he blows the whistle and penalizes me. So let's start with looking at this scenario from a free market perspective. And so the idea of the free market is that you're going to have a government that's going to create rules that are fair, and rules that are going to be enforced fairly also. So there's a restraint there where the laws need to be enforced no matter what. So if this is the case, then let's look at competition. The other goal is to create more competition in a free market, because that is better. It creates better soccer players. So if I am involved in a league, rather than having a league with 2 teams, now I've got a league that's got 8 teams. Well, my team has to be better than 7 other teams. So I probably have to be a lot better than a system where I've only got 2 teams. So this idea of competition in the free market is very important for creating more interest and allowing more people to be productive and to be actually better soccer players, because they've got more competition to beat. So, and we can assume that everybody's greedy in this system, and everybody wants to win the championship, you know. So, anyhow, that's sort of the free market look at the system. There's a lot of competition. There's a referee who's going to have to call the game according to the rules, and you know, be fair, basically. So a second way of looking at this is also that in a free market economy, I own the results of my labor. So if I win a game 2-1, then I've earned that victory. Because I've worked hard for it, and I've followed the rules of the soccer game, and I've scored 2 goals, and the opponent's only scored 1. So I actually have earned that win, and I get to keep that win for myself. So the second way we can look at this, or another system that we can impose on this scenario, is to look at it from a fascist or a corporatist perspective. So again, we've got lots of greedy teams, we've got a greedy government, but now, the government is actually allowed to own one of the teams. So let's just say that the government, rather than these all being private teams, let's say there's a public team, and the government is allowed to support that team. And the government has the power to set the rules and be the judge of the rules. So that's sort of interesting there. If I'm a greedy referee and I've got a team that I'm rooting for, it's kind of like, maybe being a home team referee where I'm going to make a certain